Most of the business models we look at, though, what you really want to know if you're doing a franchise startup is, what's my expectations to start making this cash flow? How long will it take me to ramp up this brand? And so many of our candidates that come to us end up looking in the home service industry. Why? Because it's relatively low overhead, low startup costs, and usually you can start making cash flow within a few months. Welcome back. On today's episode, we're going to discuss business acquisition versus franchise startup and what I see personally as an SBA broker and also as a franchise advisor. I get a lot of calls, a lot of scheduled appointments, and people always have the same opening, not always, but a good amount of time. And they're like, yeah, I want to buy a business and, here's my buy box, or maybe they don't have a defined buy box. And really, they're at a point where they're getting a little frustrated, but they want to learn about how to fund these businesses with SBA financing. And then I always kind of say, have you thought about a franchise startup? And so I understand because I work with both on the acquisition side as well as a lot of franchise startups. People think acquisition is going to be superior because you're going to get that cash flow day one, which might not necessarily be true. Remember, whenever you take over a business, there's a lot of things you're going to probably uncover within the business, and you have to set the right expectations. Plus, you're usually taking over some employees, whether good, bad, or indifferent, and sometimes there's problems as you take over these businesses. So what is the real difference between a business acquisition and possibly looking at a franchise startup? I mean, right, in an ideal world, you find that perfect business. The seller's been running it for 20 years. It's a cash cow, and it really makes sense. And yeah, I agree. You should always be looking for those types of, profitable existing businesses for acquisition. Those aren't the easiest to find. I mean, really, it's going to take you a long time to go through search and off-market deals, talking to business brokers, etc. And so a lot of people come to me, and they're in the corporate world. And I always tell them the same thing. Look, you can continue going through your search for a business acquisition, but maybe a franchise startup might make more sense. One, usually it's much less of a startup, right? So if you're buying a business acquisition or doing a business acquisition, you're looking at a multiple of earnings versus like going into a franchise startup. There's going to be, of course, the franchise fee, working capital, any of the equipment or trucks you need to buy. If it's a brick and mortar location or a home-based business, right, there's going to be an investment range that you're going to make. Most of the business models we look at, though, what you really want to know if you're doing a franchise startup is, what's my expectations to start making this cash flow? How long will it take me to ramp up this brand? And so many of our candidates that come to us end up looking in the home service industry. Why? Because it's relatively low overhead, low startup costs, and usually you can start making cash flow within a few months. So that's why these non-brick and mortar home service businesses are so appealing to many. And as people are coming into my, let's call it a funnel, to talk to me, whether they want looking for SBA financing or they want to talk about finding a business, this is the conversation I'm having with them. Instead of spending $700,000, $1 million, $2 million for a business acquisition, what if we could find you an ideal business that you're all in for $200,000? You can build the equity in it. There's a predictable path to getting cash flow and making this business profitable. You're investing in a proven business model that other franchisees will validate with you, and systems. The other thing is that you're not going in alone. If you're buying a non-franchise business, you're going to run it. You don't have the same support you do that you would with a franchise. So that's really the discussion. Look, I'm not telling you to go one way or the other. What I'm telling you is keep looking for business acquisitions, looking for those deals, but start looking at the franchise space because there's a lot of opportunity. You can get in with a lot smaller equity injection, and it just makes sense. So that's my 2 cents on this topic: business acquisition versus franchise startup. I think both of them could be amazing. Potentially, you could own multiple businesses. utilizing SBA financing. If you want to learn more about SBA financing or how we scientifically match you with the right business, you can go to bookwithbeau.com. And thank you for watching another episode.
Are you trying to escape the W-2 rat race? Or have you always wanted to own your own business? Have you ever thought about owning a franchise? If so, franuniversity.com can help. Our training program teaches you everything you need to know about franchise ownership, from choosing the right franchise to launching and running your business. We have the resources and specialists to help you from A to Z. You'll gain the skills and knowledge you need to succeed as a franchise owner. The best part? It's free to join. Go to franuniversity.com.
Hey guys, Beau Eckstein here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.